Hi, this is Dagon123, and welcome to Tenchicast. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tenchicast, hosted by Tenchiforum.com. In episode 5, we will be talking about the merchandise associated with the Tenchi franchise, also known as No Need for Product Placement. We are going to go briefly over what has come out, why things did or didn't come out, and what we would like to and expect from in the future. With me today, I have my good friend and administrator, Akoa.
How's it going, everybody?
Devil Becca.
Hey!
And Who.
Hello.
Awesome. Alright. Now, obviously, whenever a show comes out, whether it's anime, a regular TV show, or whatever, there's always some kind of merchandise that is released. You know, especially with anime, we see a lot of figures. We usually see a manga or two that comes out, and if we're lucky, sometimes video games and, you know, just the regular fare. And Tenchi is no stranger to that. Tenchi, in every one of its incarnations, has had figures released. We've been lucky enough to get one manga, the Okuda manga, and ironically enough, there were quite a few video games released for it, all on a console that most people have never ever owned in their lives, the Sega Saturn. I'm going to ask you first, Akoa, what have you gotten other than the DVDs, and why did you get them?
Oh boy, right now I have a couple of Tenchi Shitajiki pencil boards, which I think are pretty cool, and I got them because Oyasumi posted pictures of them before on the web, and I was like, I must have these. And merchandise-wise, I've got all the DVDs and stuff, but true. I also have a keychain that was non-official on my car key ring that I carry around with me always. And I always get comments when people like to pick up your keys, and I don't know why, they have a key fetish or something, but they pick up my keys and they're just like, hey, what's this show? And I'm like, oh, it's Tenchi Muyo, it's an amazing show. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, wasn't that on Toonami? Oh my god, I know this show, it's amazing.
Awesome. Always nice to hear.
Well, basically, I've got DVDs and that, and some of, like, 2 lots of the manga, you know, the all new Tenchi, No Need for Tenchi, and some of the DVDs, yeah, just got them. Basically, I used to have a keychain, but I don't know what happened to it, and I had this flapping head one that I used to get on my computer. It got broke. Bummer.
Man. Well, I'm embarrassed to say that merchandise-wise, I really don't have much of anything, I guess. I don't even have a cool keychain. I wish I did, but I just kind of recently jumped back on the Tenchi bandwagon, as it was. And, you know, I really don't have a lot of merchandise from any other series. It's not like I left Tenchi Muyo out or anything like that. But, you know, I got most of the universe. I know I should have looked harder for a complete set, but then I also have some, I think a couple of Tenchi in Tokyo ones. I just found them somewhere. They were giving them away for like really, really cheap, so I said, what the hell. But working on the OIV, I'd like to get a really nice box set of that. That would be great. But yeah, sadly, it's pretty lacking on the merchandise.
I don't like the sorry. I don't like how they've bought the over 3 out. You know, like it's just the same as the other one. I don't like it because it's just for, you know, just for sales, trying to get bigger sales. But it's not gonna fucking happen. No way.
I think as even as far as keychains go, it's kind of hard to find a lot of the merchandise because it's an older series. It's a little bit a lot of that stuff goes out really quickly. As far as merchandise on my side goes, I'd say I have a considerable amount of stuff. I have a Japanese calendar from 1998 when the Okuda manga first came out, which was signed by Io Urasa as Ryoko with a little heart on top. It's pretty cool. I have the Tenchimuyo Game Han, which is the Super Famicom or Super Nintendo game. Amazing game, tons of fun. I have the Sega Saturn game Mimiri Onsen Yukimari, which is ungodly hard to find as far as like on the internet. I mean, it doesn't exist on the internet, and I was fervently looking for it. I used to have two figures from the McFarlane set that came out when Tenchi was really big back in 2000, around the Toonami time, the Toonami Dynasty, but they ended up being misplaced. Other than that, I have I'd like to get a wall scroll at some point. That'd be really nice. And I have playing cards, some of the playing cards from Pioneer with all of the characters on. So that's pretty cool. But I don't have a keychain, and I don't have anything like that. But just various things here and there. One thing when we look at Tenchi, as far as merchandising goes, Tenchi didn't really follow what a lot of other series usually do. Usually when a series comes out, we see figures, obviously. Usually they release, one or two soundtracks, sometimes not even a single soundtrack. And, nowadays we see Dakimakura, which are hug pillows, which everybody loves to have their own opinion on. But Tenchi was different. When Tenchi came out, we saw very few figures, but we saw a ton of soundtracks. I think every single song ever played on this in every series has been released at least once, minus 2 tracks. Every one of the audio dramas that came out has been released. And even video games. I mean, even at a time when the iconic Japanese dating sims were huge, there was tons of them on the Sega Saturn. And on the Sega Saturn, a console that that most people in the US, never had a hold of, because it paled in comparison to Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo's N64. But do you think that had they changed the way that they did merchandising, or rather, when it was big on Toonami, do you think if they released more when it was big on Toonami, do you think it would have affected how popular Tenchi was?
I think it might have actually helped a lot. If they'd had more merchandise available, it would have gotten, I don't know, you would have given the show a little more notoriety, because I do remember when I was a kid, I could go into Toys R Us when Toonami was popular, and I could buy figures or action figure toys or other random memorabilia for just about any Toonami show. Like, I used to go in there every week and I'd stare longingly at the Gundam toys from Gundam Wing, and they had, I don't know, just a number of other things on there you could get. I remember being in there, kids would look at the toys sometimes and they'd be like, "Hey, I know what this is from, but I don't know what this is from." And then the other kids in the aisle would be like, "Oh, that's from this show." And then they'd be like, "Wow, I want to go watch that show now." And I think it could have had some more word of mouth spread. I think they did a pretty good job considering, but if they were going to do anything now, if they had a chance to do that, then I would imagine they'd do a lot more merchandise.
Well, I suppose, but if it's been in the UK, I much doubt it, because I don't know, right? Because I really don't know.
Hey, if you don't know, you don't know.
I think definitely, well, going with what Ako was saying, I think it would have helped a little, but, as far as would Tenchi Muyo still have been as popular as Gundam or Dragon Ball Z, for example, that's still, you can speculate on that. I still don't think it would ever have been quite that popular, especially like, back in the day when Ko was talking about, I think, like Pokemon was it. That was the thing, and that was what was really popular with American kids and stuff. So, but I think it would have helped a little bit, like what Ako was saying. Kids, that does happen where obviously buy toys for whatever favorite show you like, but sometimes kids just going through the aisles there, they find a cool looking toy and they go, "Oh, what is this?" And one of their friends jumps in and says, "Oh, well, that's from such and such show," and then of course, they're gonna be curious about that, and so So it could have helped it become a little more popular in that way, I think.
I definitely think it could have been just a little bit. I think it really would have helped because of how popular Tenchi was on Toonami. You know, despite the fact that there were shows like DBZ, which is like the penultimate of shonen shows, like everyone looks to that pedestal, and you know, there's Gundam, which is the penultimate of mecha for many people. The one that rules them all. Tenchi kind of stood out in a lot of ways. At the same time, because of that, it garnered a huge following of people. It was extremely popular, despite the fact that there weren't a huge assortment of toys. I mean, the only toys that were released were from figures from the McFarlane runs, which are usually done with comic characters, and then a few others that I don't know by name, but they had like smaller chibi-sized characters, but other than that, there was not a whole lot. Especially as far as the manga went, like we had the Okuda manga, but there's so much more. Other than that stuff that we haven't seen, there's a whole broad spectrum of stuff that never made it over here. And one of those things is the novels. Everyone, fans have been asking for the longest time for the novels to have made it over. The 10th anniversary Tenchi set, which came out in 2001, while Tenchi was still extremely popular, could have easily been, I think Pioneer could have totally jumped on that and been like, hey, this is a blah 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 for ultra collectors. I think it would have shown Pioneer that there was just that much more interest in the series. Because I mean, it's still big. It's still big enough that people still come out of the woodwork to see it, and they ask about it from time to time. But going back to the things that should have come over, this includes everything, like things that have never been released, DVD, the novels, whatever. What do you think should have made it over?
I think the first thing that I would have picked would be the True Tenchi novels. Those stand out the most to me because I've been wanting to read those forever. I don't know, the video games I can't really play at this point because I don't have access to any of those systems, but there are a number of other things that I'm sure that, another thing, for example, like the Kajishima Onsens are the doujinshi that Kajishima wrote. I'd be curious to see, be able to read some of those, in English, done by an official person. I mean, I know they're doujinshi, but still, things like that, just little things that wish we could have had. Would have liked to have a little bit more, little knick-knack merchandise. I don't know, I'm kind of I like that kind of kitschy stuff sometimes, the knick-knack things, more keychain type things, or a lanyard, or I don't know, wall scrolls even. We didn't really get that many. I've seen wall scrolls before here, but they're always done by independent print shops, and they're usually just art book scans blown up to huge sizes.
That's a really good point, and really good stuff.
Yeah, the true Tenchi novels, because they've got real good shit in. If you want to know more about Tenchi and that, just look at that and stuff. And the Tenchi Universe manga, that is fucking rare to find, honest to God. I've looked all over, right, and I cannot find them whatsoever. Because they used to be on the Tenchi Zone site, if any of you remember that. Oh, what else? And with the games, I can't get access to them games, but you would have to have Windows, I don't know, about Windows 95, which I could get. Yeah, I think that's it, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to jump in real quick. The thought occurred to me that it would be kind of, in this day and age, they could always probably release the games to as downloadable content on Xbox Marketplace or PlayStation Network. Sorry, I just wanted to toss that out there.
Oh no, that's a good point. Especially now that Sega has moved over and pretty much done all of their stuff downloadable. I know at least on the PlayStation Network, they could probably get a considerable amount of money from that. Yeah, that's a good point to add.
Yeah, no problem. I actually glad you brought that up, Koa, because I was thinking, I'd like to have access to those video games, but Becca said, you're gonna have to do some backtracking in terms of get an old Windows 95 or something to play it. But if they made it, really convenient, just as downloadable content or something, which I'm not an expert on how they do that, but it kind of seems like that wouldn't be that hard to do. I would go for that. But yeah, just I think like Akoa said, I don't know what all fit under the category of knickknacks, but I would definitely like. I was just thinking the other day, like wall scrolls or posters, of any kind like that. I'd like that. Put a big poster of Ryoko up in my room wall. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, just before I interrupt someone. Yeah, I think they should get more posters out and some T-shirt. Yeah, that'd be good.
I would love T-shirts. That would be so awesome. If there was a I had a Ryoko T-shirt, I would just probably not wear anything else ever.
It would be nice to get even more unofficial stuff put on T-shirts and stuff like that. That was high quality. But as far as stuff that I'd like to have seen come over, one thing that always stands out at me, aside from the True Tenchi novels, was Hasegawa's 13 novels. Even though technically they are considered novels, they're fairly short, and most of them are pictures. A lot of them are, which means that they could probably pass off as being, light novels, if not manga itself. Mainly because, especially as far as print goes, there's a lot of stuff that happens in Tenchi that isn't explained, that you find out on the internet, that it's like a rite of passage. Like once you've seen the series in its material form, you move on to the internet if you're so inclined, and then it's like, well, hey, why did that happen? Oh yeah, by the way, here's the internet refresher course. You're new here. Blah 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 blah. All this stuff has been, thrown out at you, and you come to realize that a lot of it is in 3 books. And at the same time, those things, the True Tenchi novels came out way before Tenchi was popular on Toonami. And with its popularity, I've always wondered why we never did see those novels come over. Because it's not like they wouldn't have sold. Because anything related to manga at that time was huge, because everybody loved manga. I know that manga was always out in my school's library. Everybody always had at least the one volume out you wanted, and you would go to the store, and, there was always an abundance of stuff to get, but it was always going very quickly. So I definitely think there would have been, the market was there. I wonder why they never capitalized on it, especially with a series that would become as convoluted as Tenchi. I mentioned the 10th anniversary set because the 10th anniversary set has stuff on it that most people don't even know exists. Like, I just got done about an hour and a half ago, uploading the Tenchi in Tokyo special, Omaki episode, which up until a year ago, I didn't even know existed. Like, I was completely in the dark about, and blew my mind that there was still something new in Tenchi fandom that I had not digested yet. And I think had Pioneer been, in that respect, a little bit nicer to the R1 market and released it, despite its high price tag, I think it would have been nice for fans. Because, like Akoa said, when you're going through the store and your favorite series is like, say your favorite series is DBZ, there is never any one point where you're asking for more. I mean, there's always a bunch of characters. If there are characters and action figures, there's tons of manga for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Gundam had every one of the Gundams from Wing. I know they did. Even Outlaw Star had action figures. But Tenchi was kind of left out a little bit in that respect. Now that we are in 2011, OVA 3 was the latest thing that came out, and merchandising has kind of shifted a little bit in how it works in the anime market. What products would you like to see in the future, and why?
Oh boy. Well, I would probably like to see, like I said earlier, some wall scrolls, do some nice official art, because it always looks better, always seems to look better when it's an official poster or wall scroll to me. Crap. Maybe some more figures. I'd like to see some of those. I don't know, maybe some random things, like, I don't know about anybody else, but I've always wanted, like, window decals for my car. You know how you can buy those for, like, colleges or sports teams? You can put a little window cling in your car, back window or whatever. I've always wanted, like, anime ones of that, and I don't know, they never make official ones, it seems. It's kind of frustrating. But stuff like that. And I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say they want Dakimakura. Even like random things like coasters would be kind of cool. Just I don't know. Maybe I'm a tacky guy, but I just like to buy crap like that. And well, not crap, but things like that. And it just seems like if you have that, then it's a conversational piece. Somebody comes over, they're like, "Whoa, your coasters are interesting. What's that all about?" And then there you have a story right there.
That's pretty cool. Trust me, it's not crap. Because if it's crap, I have a lot of shit. But,
Shit, would be more posters, like a massive poster, like something to put in the living room or something. More fridge magnets. How about some Tenchi pillows? So like you could turn over and that, and there's Tenchi. Oh, let's see. Like some figurines, probably some curtains. Like, like in a car or something, where you have a cover, have something there, I'm just making this up as I go along.
it seems like everybody wants to wear Tenchi right on the car. I think that'd be pretty cool if you could have, like, Ryoki right there in the corner. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of. I think I know what Becca was talking about there with those things you put in your car. It's like a solar shield or something. I don't know what those are called, but that would be cool. And what Mikoa was saying, like little decals for your car. There's a whole list of things I could go off of now that I didn't even think about. Like car accessories, like a steering wheel cover or a seat cover. I don't know, all kinds of stuff like that. Definitely, like we were saying, I'd say, yeah, a shirt. That would be really cool. Posters would be awesome. And one other thing is, I didn't even really know what they were called until like recently here. But those Dakimakura, is that what those are? Those body pillows. I am totally with Becca on there, minus the Tenchi part. For me, I would prefer Ryoko on mine. Nothing. I don't know. Explicit those things go, but I mean, I think that would be really awesome. I just I saw one day my roommate had one for Yoko from Gurren Lagann, and I was just like, what is that? And of course, first thing that jumped to my mind, oh man, they need to make one of those with Ryoko on it, because I would give them my money so I could have it.
Oh, totally. I've always kind of wondered how long would it take pre-orders of Ryoko body pillow Dakimakura to sell out? Because, I mean, seriously, with the right image on there, shut up and take my money, But looking at that, and the hug pillows especially, we've seen people like Great Eastern. Great Eastern they're kind of like an anime merchandising giant. Like, they do merchandise from pretty much every show that comes out, officially licensed. And one show in particular, Oh My Goddess, its first and second season got Dakimakura, got hug pillows. And as we know, Oh My Goddess, the manga has been going around for like 30 years. It's been going around forever. The OVA came out the very same time as Tenchi. And the second season, first and second season, came out around the same time as OVA 3. Now, one has to wonder, why didn't we see the same amount of merchandising that we saw with Oh My Goddess as we did with OVA 3? Do you think that the overall thought on OVA 3 being so bad affected how much merchandise?
Yeah, I think that could be part of it, definitely, because I've looked up for Tenchi merchandise, and as far as OVA 3 goes, there's really not that much out there that I've been able to find. There's a little bit of art. I think there was a poster. I'm not sure. But there's really not that much for it. And you have a good point that they did come out about the same time, and it would make sense for them to have it. Yeah, I can't think of... Unless you can think of something. Off the top of my head, there's nothing that was really OVA 3 merchandise that was over here that I can think of.
Well, the wiki destroyed it, so... I mean, there was Blu-ray poster that I saw on the forum. It was just that. I don't know. It was just shit. I'm sorry, it was just shit. I mean, it wasn't shit, right? But it was entertaining, but it just wasn't all there, you know.
That's really weird. That you mentioned that that second season for that season. Oh my God, it came out similar time as OAV3, and yet didn't have. I mean, had more merchandise than it. So yeah, why wouldn't they do that? That is really weird, and I'm not a big business experts person, so I have no idea why they wouldn't. You'd think they'd want to try to capitalize on that because, I mean, we all know now that OAV3 was, but at the time, right when when it first came out, there was probably at that time a huge resurgence of popularity in Tenchi Muyo. So you would think that coinciding with that would be your time to get your merchandise out. But maybe it's a similar line of reasoning as to why they keep re-releasing the DVDs, even though the same DVDs at later dates. Maybe they're trying to spread it out and milk Tenchi for all it's worth, and maybe they're going to try to release merchandise like that later, I guess, and it can coincide with yet another release of the same DVDs again.
I think when looking at why we didn't see as much come out of OVA 3 as we did with previous ones, part of it is because OVA 3 was not only being handled by a different company, it wasn't the entire Tenchi franchise at that point had shifted from GXP on to a company called VAP. When looking at the two different companies, Genion and VAP, Genion is a licensing giant. Like, they are huge in music, they're huge in releasing a bunch of products to people, and on top of the fact that OVA 3 came out to a very lukewarm response, I think VAP had no reason to try and push merchandise when people were not, gung-ho into the show, When you look at how well Oh My Goddess did with the fans, the redone first and second season, people loved it, obviously, it was great, and so they pushed merchandise, they got it out the door, and they made it happen. OVA 3, on the other hand, was very lukewarm, it was short, it was, to many and most, terrible, and there really wasn't that much, people wanted to see the novels more than they did at, actual merchandise, because, oh, this is licensed from OVA 3, oh, you mean that one that was kind of crappy? Oh, yeah, don't remind me. That was I'm sure that was probably one of the mindsets that people went through. But other than that, yeah, I'd say we covered most of it. Does anybody have anything else they want to add?
I just wanted to add that I thought of when you guys were talking about merchandise that you would like to see. There used to be this person on eBay that sold these things that were like handmade craft things called otaku boxes. And they were like these lacquer boxes, I think, that they had images from shows pasted on them all nice. And it was basically like a jewelry box type thing or something. Like, could you put your keys in, or nice little things that you want to keep in a safe place so that you know where they are and don't get lost. I don't know, I always wanted to get that, and I kept saying I was going to get it, and then I went back like a few months ago and I looked for it, and I just couldn't for the life of me find it. It was a couple years ago. I'd like something like that, because you'd use that fairly often and it'd always be there. I know it's kind of random, but that's something I've always wanted to kind of have just for the hell of it.
I've seen a few of those. I think I've seen a Helsing one before.
I know a guy who had some Ryoko boxers. Should get more of them. I mean, I personally don't wear them, so because I'm a girl, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
Wait, did you just say you really found Ryoko boxers?
Yeah. Seriously, I was so surprised. You could imagine.
Just for anyone out there listening, where did you come across those by chance?
He wouldn't have told us. He didn't tell us anything. He said he had got them online. It was about a few years back. I don't think he still has them. Well, not unless he got them made. I'm not really sure, but fuck.
Yeah, I'll admit it. If they had official, I don't want necessarily some guy off the internet hand knitting them for me. But if they made official boxers with the Elko on it, I'd probably get those.
I just thought I should bring it up since we're already talking about merchandises and stuff like that.
That
should
is
do
the topic.
socks. They should also do socks, I think.
Oh yeah.
They could partner with Hanes or Fruit of the Loom and just do underclothing and like undershirts, socks, boxers. Just go the whole 9 yards.
Honestly, they could make a lot of money off of it. It's there, They could be like, oh well, if you have two young girls, one of them could be Ryoko, and one of them could be Ayaka, and when they kick each other, it's like them really fighting in the series.
If I ever had kids and I had like 2 daughters and that scenario happened, that would be hilarious.
Alright, well, I want to thank all 3 of you guys for coming in and doing this one. Next time, as I have this one planned out, the next Tenchicast that we will be doing, episode 6, will be No Need for Tenchi Universe. We will be focusing on the fan favorite of all of the Tenchi series, and I'm sure that will be one that nobody will want to miss.
I'm so excited. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm so excited.
I hope I can make it. That's yeah.
I hope you can too, Becca. And I definitely want to make that one, and we might have a lot of people wanting to jump in on that one. That'd definitely be one I don't want to miss.
This should be really cool, man. Really cool.
'Cause who doesn't like Tenchi Universe? Seriously, come on. I mean,
again, thanks guys for coming in, and Akoa, I think you know how to end it.
Until next time, stay gold.